subscribe, support, stay positive.
Hello folks, I'm Tommy NC2010. How you doing there today? I'm doing this live broadcast because I kind of had some energy that I wanted to talk about today. Some vibes of just you being there and you being there as a person. And today's standards, people think it's funny to pick on people because apparently we're supposed to be above and we're supposed to be perfect. The thing is, title is no one is perfect, inspire, and entertain. So the thing is, folks, that we as people are not perfect. There's understandings that we as people are coped to understand why we're in this gigantic bubble. Just a second. Just to say, we as people are coped to understand that we as people are designed in different ways, and we are metaphorically just there in the ideal that we are not perfect. I'm not perfect. I know that. I'm not. I could be a lot smarter, but I am who I am for who I am. I tried to be my best. I tried to understand the feeling and the idealism to entertain and to make videos on YouTube and to exist. And some of you people that just sit there and just make fun of me because apparently I'm supposed to be different or something. I'm supposed to be perfect. You're not perfect. I'm sorry to say this, but apparently if you think you are perfect, wow, that's amazing. Glad to meet you, Mr. Perfect Man. You're not, I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. And, maybe some people might gloat about it and say, oh, yeah, I'm perfect. Well, the fact is that we as people try to live every single day. We sit in this emotional roller coaster called life, and it's like a marble. That's what life is, and it spins around, and we realize what just happened. And the thing is that we are people on a diorama. We're on a straight path, and we have this thing called stuff that happens in life, little situations that people are made to imply to judge you. And why should they judge you? Honestly, why should they judge you? Because apparently that person believes that the idealism to that is to poke fun at you. And they think, oh, just because I poke fun at him, I feel much better. I feel good about myself because I just called that guy a retard. Or I just said that guy looks stupid because he's wearing a suit in the summer. Oh yeah, but there's nothing wrong with looking different. And so the thing is that we as people are coped with the feeling of we have to set ourselves to a certain standard, and where people are just in dilemmas of saying, oh, you have to be perfect, you have to be the best you could be. It's not about being the best, it's about being who you are, about who you are and what you do. And I think some people shouldn't have to push themselves to be the best of who they are. And I believe it just comes out in natural ways. And people are coped with the fact that they have this thought in their head, I have to be the best that I can. I have to be the best that I can, or people are going to make fun of me. I think it's ridiculous when the kid accidentally kicks the ball in the wrong place and everybody laughs at him. You know what I think people should do instead of laughing? They should, good job, go get the ball, let's get the job done. Don't laugh at that kid, because the kid is just going to roll up in a ball and not do anything. And when people are hateful and mean, what are you getting out of that? What are you getting out of you're not perfect. You have problems, but what you choose is you take hateful stuff and launch it out at us. And there's people out there I know have been bullied. YouTubers out there have been bullied because they're different. No one is perfect. No one is perfect. Not even you, the viewer. I'm not trying to be rude here. I'm just saying that no one is perfect. I'm not perfect. I know I have a disability. I know I'm kind of a little bit overweight. So the thing is, no one is perfect. We as people are coped to the idealism as people to launch ourselves into this system of, oh, we have to be perfect. We have to build ourselves on a building block level. And why is it you that makes us feel like people like Gino here, like we have to be put on the plaque because we're not good enough? You see, Gino tries everything. Gino tries everything to be who he is, and he's judged for it. And why? Because you think he looks a little bit different. And people, Gino could sit here and go for an hour saying how he has been bullied and pushed around. But the fact is, Gino knows that he is who he is. Gino knows he's not perfect. But the thing is that Gino is for who he is. And the thing is, people exist for a reason for us to survive in this system. And you as people and you as what you do is amazing. You can, people say, Tom, yes, Mom. Okay, Mom. But the thing is that where we are today and where we are tomorrow, can we understand the fact is that we're just people. We're just people, folks. We're just trying to exist in this world. We're trying to compensate to the ideal of what we are. And if you can feel a compassion for somebody, you can understand that the fact is that all of us as human beings are just humans. We make mistakes. We say the wrong things. People get jealous. People say things that they shouldn't say. And when they're mad, and they lash out at people because apparently you're a bad person. You should be better than that. You need to be perfect. Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect, perfect, perfect with your perfect tootie shoes, and you should be all perfect. Man, well, you know what? All you perfect people, I don't care. I'm not perfect. I know that. But the thing is, I know that I'm an entertainer. I know that I try to inspire. And if you understand where I'm coming from as a person, and people like Gino that do everything to stick out and to do things that get people to notice him. Not just because he's trying to act like a clown. It's because he's trying to be Gino Cuddy. And the thing about Gino Cuddy is Gino Cuddy's different. He is different. He's different than me. He lives a different life than me. And the fact is, if Gino wants to step here and say anything, he can. You can if you want to, Gino.
Well, pardon me. People are like snowflakes. I know it's a cliche thing to say, but people are like snowflakes. There's not a single snowflake out there that's identical to another person. They may look similar, may have like similar traits, similar patterns, but they aren't truly the same. People come in all shapes and sizes, tall or short and slim and stout, and all races and in every nation of the world. You know, I love old movies. I love collecting things on VHS. I love 80s metal. I love everything 80s. I was born in the wrong era. You know, I wish I had been born in 1976, so I could have lived through the 80s and seen everything. I wish I could have, but I wasn't. I was unfortunately born in the year 1995 when all the good stuff, well, stuff that I think is good anyway, when all that stuff is ending, when the hair bands started, leaving the world and everything, and grunge became the thing, But I was too young to know that, but I've grown and matured, and look at this collection right here. Look at this collection, if you don't mind me showing it. Look at this collection right here, if you can see it. All those are cassettes that I have collected over the period of a couple of weeks. That's all 80s metal, hair metal, thrash metal, speed metal, all that. And that's what I'm into. I'm into 80s metal. I'm into animation like Gulliver's Travels, and I'm talking about 2D animation. I'm into collecting Disney films on VHS. I'm interested in collecting old science fiction films, wrestling figures, Stimpy.
Like, for instance, we're all into different things we like, and we are drawn to things that what we do. And we as people exist in this world because we exist. And just to let you know, folks, today was one of the most interesting experiences I have ever had. I was in a restaurant today, and what happened was I was in the restaurant, and all of a sudden I was walking through. I was going to get a Wi-Fi password for my tablet. And these gentlemen yelled at me. I posted on Instagram, and I posted on Instagram, and I posted it on I posted on Facebook and stuff like that. Where is it? Just a second, folks. Let me see if I can find it.
What was it? A photograph of something you ate or something, or?
No, it was. Here's the picture.
Because I know you post that stuff regularly.
This is the picture right here, folks, and it's a picture of two guys that I met today, and they're Tommy fans. These guys are Tommy fans. I was in this place called Dark City Deli, and this guy right here yelled out my name, Tommy NC 2010. I stopped in my tracks. I turned around at him. I said, "Do I know you?" And he's like, "Well, no, I know you." And I said, "What?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, YouTube." And the other guy, well, hold on a second. Shoot. Okay, but the other guy, it was on the other side of me, came up to me and was so excited. He didn't belittle me because who I was. He didn't belittle me because I was wearing a fedora, I was wearing a suit. He was happy because I make material. I make material that inspires him, and that, I never had that experience. This guy, shoot, okay, it went off, but he was inspired. He was inspired by me, and I was really appreciative. I shook his hand. I took some pictures with him. I shot vlog. I was still in the process of shooting vlog 69, and I shot a piece of footage. I extended the vlog just to let you know that.
Yeah, I just shot one today. I'm going to be uploading it soon, hopefully.
Gino, show us the camera. Show us the camera that I sent you.
All right. This is a Samsung HMX-W300 Full HD camera. This is what I shot my my Godzilla vlog, my Wild Bills vlog, my flea market vlog. All my vlogs are shot on this one camera. It's a very good camera, and what's cool about this camera is it it looks like a cell phone. So that's how I was able to get in with the camera in the theater to see Godzilla. As I understand it, Tommy wasn't able to do the same because people saw his camera and he wasn't able to vlog in there, which is quite unfortunate. Really good camera. Unfortunately, it can't hold that much on here at one time, so I have to keep dumping things
It's an
into
8
it.
gig memory card.
Well, it says like on here 40 minutes remaining. I guess I have to delete some video off of here.
How many videos?
Um,
How many videos do you shoot in one day, Gino?
I shoot sporadically. I don't shoot like every day, but I sporadically, like probably about a couple times a week, maybe.
Well,
I
Gino,
probably have a lot of stuff backed up.
well, Gino, this is what I do with my vlogs. If I don't extend my vlogs, I do 10 things of footage through the week, and I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if I've gone through the week, I normally cut it off at 10 things of footage. So one thing that's good for you to do is just to, if you have good editing software, to edit anything you don't want out of your vlogs. But one of these things is this hangout is inspire, entertain. Me and Gino are trying to be the best that we can and to inspire. And me and Gino are not perfect. We both have problems and disabilities. So why should we get picked on for who we are and what we do? And the thing is that doesn't make us any difference. We're still human beings. You should treat us like human beings, because the idealism, if you treat somebody with disrespect, you should treat them with kindliness. And when that person is rude to you and you treat them with kindness, they'll be so confused, like, I just called you stupid. I'm like, and I just gave you something that, you wouldn't expected me to do. You probably expected me to knock your teeth down your throat, which I wanted to do, but I didn't.
You know what? You know what book, and there are various film adaptations of it, but there's a story that the trolls out there need to either read or watch, and this is the Disney version of it, and it's The Hunchback of Notre Dame. This is a perfect story of, what we're talking about. It's basically, here's the description. At the urging of his hilarious gargoyle pals, Victor Hugo and Laverne, Quasimodo defies his evil guardian, Frollo, and ventures from his tower to the joyous festival of fools below. But the crowd turns cruel and rejects Quasi because of the way he looks. After another outcast, the gypsy Esmeralda, rescues him, Quasi finds himself battling to save the people in the city he loves, while reminding us to see people for who they are rather than how they appear. Perfect story right here to go along with,
But the thing about it is, with the Hunchback of Notre Dame, they shun Quasi to be sheltered into. That's the whole idea of the storyline, is they try to make like the sheltered life is good. Like they try to make like, since like even the man of God, he says that he's a man of God, but he's telling one of God's children that is deformed to hide, and he practically kills the mother right in front of our eyes, but the camera blacks out, and we don't see her trampled to death by his horse. Quasi's mother is trampled to death practically by the priest's horse, and the whole thing is that the whole Disney. That's one thing that's interesting, is Disney has had this storyline of basically, if you're a freak or if you're weird in some way, and they take it and make it whimsical, and they try to push it out there, and what ends up is sometimes these storylines are just getting old, and they, where the point is that, for instance, the movie Frozen, they tell the girl, the parents practically, they're like, well, since you have powers, you should hide them. You shouldn't do anything with your powers, and the fact that you can freeze everything, and
Yeah, I mean,
They
exactly. I mean, if perfect example, if when Superman was a baby and he was brought up, do you think people told him to keep his powers a secret?
Well, no. Here's the
Yeah.
thing. One thing you should know, Gino, about Superman is when he was on Krypton, he didn't have superpowers. The planet Krypton had 3 suns. So the fact is, the yellow sun. Interesting fact was the thing that gave Superman his powers. What drew his powers out. That's what makes him strong. That's why he's the Man of Steel here on Earth. I don't like Superman really. I don't the character of Superman. He's too glossy. He's too out there. That's why I like Batman, because Batman is not perfect. Both Batman and Superman's parents died.
Oh,
And
you must admit, I think one of the main reasons why, and I don't know if this has ever been discussed anywhere, but I think, from watching the Max Fleischer cartoons from the 40s, which are really good, which I insist people checking out. I'm thinking that one of the reasons why Clark Kent goes into phone booths and things and changes into Superman and doesn't want people to know that he's Superman is because he doesn't want to be looked at as a freak because he has powers. He doesn't want people to laugh at him and say, wow, look at him, he could shoot lasers from his eyes. I mean, to a little kid that's cool, but as we grow older...
well, okay, for instance, what's interesting, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Gino, but
I think the reason why let me just drive this point home. I think the reason why Superman does what he does by changing in the phone booths and everything is because he's insecure with who he is. He's self-aware of who he is, but he's insecure of who he is, which is why he wants to keep which is why he wants to keep Superman a secret. Which is why he wants to separate Clark Kent and Superman into two totally different people.
well, okay, here's the thing with superheroes. With superheroes, is the idealism is if people knew that Bruce Wayne was Batman, if people knew Clark Kent was Superman, and that the fact is that Clark Kent gets hit by a truck, but the thing is that he has to fake like he's dead because he's the Man of Steel. He can step in front of a truck and a truck could hit him, and that truck is just going to be all destroyed and crippled. But he has to play like he got hurt. Like with a truck hitting his car, he has to act like he's actually dead, but he's the Man of Steel. Nothing can hurt him. But here's the thing. The ideal with Bruce Wayne is there's a lot on him. And reason why say I don't like Clark Kent or Superman is because, not because Clark Kent doesn't have any money, and it's just the ideal of, the difference between Batman and Superman is, oh, I put on glasses. Oh, I'm Clark Kent, nerdy Clark Kent. I take my glasses off, I'm Superman. Da, da, da. Batman wears a full covered mask with a costume and everything, and the only thing you see is his mouth. Picture a mask over my face, folks. That's, all you see is his mouth, and he changes his voice. And the thing is, that's the reason why I like.
I see what you're saying about Batman, but how he has that mask. But I think. Now, I would have to do my research on this, but I think Superman came first.
Well,
and I think, Superman led the way. I mean, really, the first comic book superhero was really like Popeye, because of his superhuman strength and all that. But, Superman, led the way for...
Well, really, Popeye is just I hate to interrupt you again, Gino, but I'm listening to what you're saying here. But the thing is, Popeye, I think, is just a commercial thing, in my opinion. The reason why I think he's a commercial, because he sells the ideal of spinach, eating your vegetables.
In the comics, he didn't. That was implemented in the Fleischer films and the later adaptations of that. Popeye went in the original E.C. Seeger comics. He never, ever relied on spinach. He actually hated spinach in the original Seeger comics. There's this one story where, let's see, the the villain in the regular Popeye comics was not Bluto. It was actually the Sea Hag, Alice the Goon, and this guy by the name of Jack Stork. And there's this one strip where Jack Stork shot Popeye with 10 million bullets, but Popeye never went down because he rubbed this magical creature known as the Wiffle Hen. So he didn't use spinach there. Popeye didn't use spinach until the Fleischer films. So if we're talking about Fleischer, if we're talking about film Popeye, then yes, he is a commercial. But if we're talking about Popeye as he was invented for the comic strip, no.
Well, Gino, think about this. Which one is more advertised more? The spinach Popeye. You think are people gonna? People could want to take their opinions and go find those comics, but they're not. The thing is, it's called media. It's called media. It advertises certain things, certain outlets.
Well, the comics didn't advertise anything.
And like the fact that Godzilla. Okay, Godzilla is what you consider right behind me, the king of the monsters. Godzilla is a badass, and reason I could say top 10 things why Godzilla is the badass and that's why he is the king of the monsters. And people say, oh, King Kong has the name King in his name. Well, the fact is that because now Gino would get into a gigantic argument with me and saying, well, here's the thing, it's just because there's copyright in certain intentions, but the thing is, reason why I prefer Godzilla over King Kong is because nothing against gorillas or anything like that, but Godzilla is more of a powerful character. He's had more movies made of him and more annotations, and people have built up on Godzilla. And I'm sure there's King Kong fans out there, like Gino is. And I watched Godzilla versus.
I like Godzilla as well. But I'm also a Kong fan. King Kong was one of the first really classic films that I ever saw as a child. So I not only like King Kong because I think he's a great monster, but for sentimental reasons, because that was one of the first movies I had ever seen. And I did see King Kong versus Godzilla. And here's the thing about Godzilla movies. A lot of these movies are so legendary, but once you actually sit down and watch them, they're not as cool as everybody's hyped them up to being. I mean, the only reason King Kong vs. Godzilla is remembered today is for the end scene, the last scene of the film where Godzilla and King Kong fight. It's the same thing with Destroy All Monsters. Everybody always talks about Destroy All Monsters as this cool movie, but if you really sit down and watch the movie, it should have been called, as Brandon Tenold in his recent YouTube review called it, Destroy All Cameos, since there's rarely, if any, monster action. It mostly, is on the story of. I already forgot the story, but
I like to think that one of the.
It's not in there. But Godzilla's only in there. You want to talk about commercial? Godzilla within himself is a commercial. He's a commercial to entice people into the movie theaters.
Excuse
using the
me?
figure of Godzilla.
Whoa, Gino, I don't agree with you there.
Wait a minute. I have an argument.
No, Gino.
The reason why people clamored in 1998 to go see Roland Emmerich's Godzilla is because of the name Godzilla. That's the reason why they named that movie that. It's not really Godzilla. It is not really Godzilla. I know that. Tommy knows that. The whole world knows that's, it's like fake Razor Ramon and real Razor Ramon. Fake Godzilla and real Godzilla. There's a difference. I know that the Godzilla from 1998 is not the real Godzilla. It's not. But the reason why people went to go see that film is because it was called Godzilla. People went to go see all these Godzilla movies because they had got either Godzilla in the title or Godzilla was on the poster. these movies aren't really that great. The only one that was really great was the 1954 one, King Kong vs. Godzilla, and some others. But film like Destroy All Monsters isn't really that great of a Godzilla movie because there's barely any Godzilla in it. Godzilla's name sold tickets. His name sold tickets. His name, was marquee value. Just like King Kong, franchises are commercials, like using Star Wars in the title, using anything relating to Star Wars.
For instance, okay.
Yes.
But the thing is, what I'm trying to say, the real idea behind Godzilla is the atom bomb, the fallout of the atom bomb. Godzilla is not a commercial. We make him a commercial because we try to sell him. But the ideal is the character of Godzilla when he was originally created.
He has been so oversold in all these movies. Like Son of Godzilla, Godzilla's Revenge, Godzilla vs. Africa Monster. Everybody
My God, I can't admit. Can you give me a chance, please? Sorry.
Well, you're not giving me a chance, man. I'm trying to tell you my side of the story, but you're trying to convince a whole bunch of other people that you're right and I'm wrong.
I never said you were wrong. And here's the thing. Look at the title, Gino. It says, "No one is perfect, inspire, and entertain." Okay?
Well, if that's what you're trying to drive home here, then why are you talking about Godzilla? Why are you talking about a monster when you should be talking about how to inspire people? You should be talking about, how we're pressing on even though the trolls yell at us and bark at us. You should be talking about that instead of a giant lizard. All right? You should be staying. You know what? You yelled at me on the Mother's Day episode for not staying on topic. Look at you. You're now bringing up Godzilla, and you're not staying on topic. Look at you, man, on your own show, not staying on topic.
I'm not perfect either, Gino.
Well, neither am I. I'm not saying that I am, and you aren't either. And I gotta bring it up. I have to bring it up. Way back when I was first your friend, you made me interview you on a show that was really supposed to be about me. You were interviewing me. That was supposed to be my time.
I have a segment on my show. It's called "It Swaps Around It." I have a segment
You
on my
never had Joe Cronin interview you back. You never had him conduct an interview with you back. I had you on my first show, on my first episode of Late Night, because I wanted my viewers to get to know you. Don't you think that I was deserved that same respect when I went on your show? I mean, I didn't even know you. I did not even know you. But yet I trusted you and I went on your show. And then, you made me interview you. I felt so uncomfortable with that because you didn't tell me that that's what I would be doing. I thought you would be, interviewing me and I would be telling you about myself and, it would be good. And then you got into Batman. I felt, like I wasn't good enough or I was a big enough star to devote a whole show to, like you did Joe Cronin. That whole Joe Cronin show was about him and his opinions on WWE and everything else. It was only me for about, about 15 minutes worth of that show, and then the rest of it was me interviewing you, and then you're doing the Batman script reading with Second Camp. I mean, and then I have to discuss this as well. You're always posting things about Chris Pirillo. I understand that he has his fans.
I posted stuff about you.
But Chris Pirillo. Okay, I don't watch the man's stuff. I don't. I don't have a lot of time. I watch what interests me, and quite frankly, I'll check out Chris Pirillo's videos. But I think that the man is kind of overrated. You know what I mean? He's like PewDiePie and all these other people. And people are always saying, "Oh, Chris Pirillo." Mark Hyder shared Chris Pirillo's video. Tommy NC 2010, Tommy Fenton shared Chris Pirillo's video.
NC 2010, not Tommy.
Okay. You share Chris Pirillo's videos all the time. It's like you look up to Chris
Pirillo. Sharing your videos, but the thing is, you release like only a few videos at a time, and I try my best to release your videos, Gino, whenever I watch yours. So I don't understand why you're getting all jealous at Chris Pirillo because
Chris Pirillo and how he's such a wonderful person. You, Mark Hyder, and all these other vloggers are making him out to be some sort of god.
He's not God, but you know what? He actually went. Okay, let me tell you something first. He went out of his.
And here's another thing. Whenever you used to post things on Facebook, you used to call yourself the king of YouTube, and then you'd say on your show, "Oh, I'm not perfect. I have my faults." So why are you calling yourself the king of YouTube then? Here's the
folks. Just mad because I used to post them on my cell phone.
YouTube,
I used to post them on my cell phone.
that you're not
text messages to people,
you have
and
your
he's all
faults.
mad at me.
I think, Tommy, you got to take a month break from YouTube, okay, and get your head. You got to shrink it a little bit because
where is it your place to tell you what to do?
And then you're talking about Vlogger Fair and all this with Chris Pirillo. Okay, that's good. But you don't have to be making the man out to be a god. How do you think that makes people like me feel? Like I'm not good enough for anybody. I mean, what? What do I have to do? Do I have to get myself a girlfriend? Do I have to vlog every single waking moment of my day? Do I have to upload every single moment of my day on my crappy computer that whenever I upload something, my internet goes out? What do I have to do to achieve Chris Pirillo's godlike status? I am done competing with him and competing with other people. I am who I am, and I'm not changing who I am. Because I am Gino Cuddy, and I like what I like, and if people don't like that, I'm sorry. I post what I post, so if you don't like it, unsubscribe. I do what I do because I like what I do, and I like sharing it with you all. I'm sorry if I'm not as interesting as Chris Pirillo. I'm sorry if I'm not as entertaining as Chris Pirillo. But let me tell you something.
Why are you so jealous at Chris Pirillo?
I love being in my company. People say I'm one of the smartest people they've ever met. People say I'm one of the smartest people they've ever met. People have said nothing but good things about me. And then when I go on and check my video manager and see how many thumbs down I've gotten, what in the fuck do I have to do to please you people? I've tried my best to be the best YouTuber I can. I thank God that Tommy sent me this camera. This was a gift. Thank you, Tommy, for this camera. I'm thanking him for this camera because I appreciated this gift. This was a generous gift. He didn't have to send me this camera, but he did because he wanted to make my YouTube experience better. And I thanked him for that. But I don't need to compete with Chris Pirillo. I don't need to be Chris Pirillo. I could be my own person.
Can I say you had to be Chris
in this
Pirillo?
world as individuality.
I try to make him feel like Chris Pirillo.
Tommy, I'm trying to tell you, be your own person. Don't try to be Chris Pirillo. There's only one Chris Pirillo in this world, all right? There's only one Mark Hyder. There's only one Second Camp. There's only one Tommy NC 2010. Was Chris Pirillo?
I don't try to be like Chris Pirillo.
No, you were, because people liked you enough to have you on MTV's Made. Has Chris Pirillo ever been on television? I don't think so. I've never seen him on anything.
That's what he's talking about. He used to be on a TV show a long time ago. What are you talking about? You know nothing about Chris. You know that? You know nothing about him. He used to be on television back in the 80s. So, no, the 90s, mid-90s.
What was he doing? What was he doing?
He was doing tech reviews, man. That's why he, I'm not sure if Chris is rich or not, if he has money, but the fact is that
I don't doubt that for a
Chris
second.
has worked hard. You understand that? Chris has worked hard to where
and I haven't. I haven't worked hard in my. I know I'm only 19 years old. I know I'm only 19. I'm not afraid to share my age with you all. I am 9 years old. Okay.
Why are you attacking me?
I have done more in my 19 years of life. I've gone through so much more in my 19 years of life than people imagine. My father and my grandfather died when I was 6. I lost my house. I got taken away from my mom. I was racially abused. My sister
abused me physically. You know, I can't tell you what I've been through in my life, but I had anger issues. I've had so many issues through my life. I've been mentally scarred. I've been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. But you know what? Every day I wake up and I say, it's a new day. It's a new day, Gino. So what are you going to do with it? I don't think about bad things, and I just move on. And that's why I thank people like Rick Titan. Razor Rick Titan is one of the greatest guys I've ever had the pleasure of talking to. And it's so great that I'm going to have him on my show next week. Maybe. You know, because you want to talk about inspiration. He's a very inspirational person. He was the fake Razor Ramon in the WWF. People hated him because of that. But he got over that period in his life. And look he's a life coach. He's a sales coach. Look at what he's done with his life. He wrote a book, Wrestling with Consciousness. Pick that shit up on Amazon Kindle if you want. You know, he's moved on with that part of his life. I have as well. You know, I'm trying my damnedest to be the best person I can be. And if that's not good enough for anybody, I apologize. I apologize if I'm not a perfect human being. But there's no such thing as a perfect human being, all right? I'm no Chris Pirillo, okay? I'm no damn Chris Pirillo. And I'm sorry if I'm not. I'm sorry if I don't please anybody, all right? But I am the best person that I am. I wake up every day and be myself. When I was in high school, I used to pretend I was somebody else. I played a character in school. I played the badass, the tough ass, you know? But that's not me. I'm a good guy once you get to know me. But when you get me ticked, you better watch the hell out. All right? I'm a good guy. I know I'm a good guy. There have been many times where I've wanted to commit suicide. All right? There have been many times.
So, Gino, you're saying you're a good guy, but you're sitting here berating me.
I saw your very host post up a picture of his own gravestone. Why would you want to do something like that, Tom? Why would you want to post a picture of your own gravestone? You know how morbid, you know how depressing that is to see that you would want to end your life?
Oh my gosh, you know, Gino, that's an app on Facebook. Everybody's doing it.
What? That is the most sick thing that somebody could do. I know. I put up a picture of my own gravestone, and I had to go to Middlesex Hospital for it because people saw me as a risk to myself. The police were called here at like freaking 2:30 in the morning to take me in an ambulance to the Middlesex Hospital. And I was there for an hour. So I learned not to post things like that. I learned not to post anything that would endanger my life. You know, my thinking pattern is different from other people's because I've been so mentally scarred and so mentally stressed that I think differently now. You know, I'm scatterbrained.
Did you see what year that was? That there was. It's a joke. Did you see what year that I would die in? With that on there, did you see?
You don't joke about death, my man. That's one thing you don't joke about is death.
You know, I lost my grandmother.
That's when you go. But don't joke about death.
Why are you
people every day because of what they post on Facebook? People say that they commit suicide every day because of what they post on Facebook. Because they can't take their lives anymore. Because of this god-awful world we live in. I'm not one of those people.
You say you're a good person. Why are you sitting
here? I put a damn belt around my neck, and I made it so tight that I went blue in the face. You think anybody in that damn school cared? Hell no. You think Middletown High cares about people like me? Oh, hell no. But you know what? You know who does care about me? People like Tommy. People like my friend Nick from Missouri. People like Rick Titan. People like Gary Wetstein. There are people who care about me. People in my community? Oh, hell no. People on Facebook? Oh, hell yeah. I don't care. I'll quote Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's awesome. You know, he rose from being one of the Hollywood Blondes to being one of the top WWF superstars of all time. You know, I have plans, all right? As soon as all my shit is done and over with, which I'm not going to discuss because that's legally binding, I am going to go to college for 2 years in Middlesex. Now I'm going to transfer over to one of the best schools in this damn country, Wesleyan University. And I'm going to make it out there in Hollywood because I have a plan for my life. I know what I want to do, all right? I know how good of a person I am. I like getting compliments, but I'm not a superficial person. I don't have a big ego. All right?
Oh,
I
wait,
am who I am. One of the greatest quotes of
why
all
are
time.
you giving me a chance to talk, Gene? Why are you...
Papa the Sailor. I am what I am, and that's all what I am. And with that, I'm going to say goodnight to Tommy Fitton. I'm going to say goodnight to YouTube. And I'm going to salute you all and give you a nice, rousing goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.
I don't know what happened there. Honestly, I don't know what happened there. But, you know, I just don't know what happened there. I didn't give me a chance to say anything. Not one bit. I wanted to say stuff and he wouldn't let me say it. Well, as always, folks, I'm Tommy NC2010, and I have no idea why he snapped like that. I'm keeping you on the inside fact. This was supposed to be inspirational, and it just turned into somebody yelling at me. I don't understand why you did that, Gino. Keeping you on the inside fact.